What, you thought I'd stop after one video? No way, no how. Hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome back to some more Deep Space Cache. As somebody left a comment saying, you know, oh, I was just getting good with the high spawn rate at the end of the video, and it's like, yeah, it was just getting good, which is why I'm doing another. I don't know, I love incremental games. There's something about them that just makes for a very chill, charming time. And I want to put more time into it. Just to, I don't know, see how absolutely busy I can make this screen, see how much progression there is. It feels like there's some stuff on the talent tree that hasn't been fully tapped yet, and I wonder if it's one of those where it was just a design oversight, or if there's all sorts of like goodies waiting for me. Namely the fact that every single talent node on the talent tree caps at level 1. That's an odd choice. You'd think, you know, that would, you'd think some of them would actually let you put in multiple points or something. And so I'm kind of actually really hoping there's like a secret, ooh, this is solid. I'm hoping there's like a secret, I don't want to say bonus node exactly. That was a pretty good haul. Get some more bits per second, grab another one of those. I don't know why that was, oh, this is the timer as it fills out. So as I increase the speed, this will be going faster and faster. Okay, that makes plenty of sense. Let's see. Well, what do we do? Max these out? Sure. Oh, that actually caps out there. Wait, does that mean... Huh. Okay. If we're starting to reach the end of some of these trait trees, that means we've got to be going somewhere. It's not like the game is going to just end in that way. I mean, it could. A $1 incremental game, I don't want to say that I have, like, zero expectations for that kind of experience, but it's one of those where, like, it being $1, I'm expecting this to maybe not have as much content as, say, some other incremental games, but on the flip side, with how much you can zoom out that talent tree, I can only assume it actually gets pretty deep. And pretty expansive. Alright. Let's just burn through most of this. I don't know how much I want to spend, like, hyper-focused on purple out of all of the resource types that I can find. It is the one that takes me the longest to chunk through. And so, well, it's probably a good idea for me to go after it a little bit. I shouldn't, like, hyper-focus in a way that that's the only thing I'm harvesting. There we go, that was pretty good. Let's see. Especially because at this point, yeah, I do want to start boosting these harvest speeds so they go much faster. Let's just max those out. Because this... Oh. Yeah, the other thing is, I'm actually getting enough bits that I could just hang out here and just buy things. I'm not going to, though. That would be boring. Let's see. You know what I want to play? I want to play one of these at some point where it's kind of the sphere grid system. Ooh, now that would be really cool if, like, at a later date, you actually get the ability to start replacing nodes on the talent tree with kind of your own other nodes instead. Kind of a, like, you know, hey, I'm just gonna hang out here for a hot second. You know, hey, this 1%, you know, increase is kind of plain. Let's replace it with, like, a 10% instead that we found is, you know, in a cache somewhere. I don't know. I'm gonna keep spitballing weird ideas for this game. Not necessarily because I want to see them in it, but because I can see it being really fun all the same. And who knows, maybe we get a sequel at some point that at least takes some of those notes. Or, you know, somebody else hears me. I do know developers listen to my videos. Like, it's not uncommon where I'll get, like, a comment from somebody being like, yeah, I watch your videos all the time. I got that actually from this developer. And so it's one of those where, like, I don't want to toot my own horn too much just because, you know, that's a little bloviating. Let's just see how far this goes. Maybe not bloviating, but, like, I have an ego and I try not to. Being egotistical is not It's one thing to be proud of yourself, it's another thing to be egotistical, and I'm trying to be proud of myself without being egotistical, and that's actually really hard sometimes. I mean, luckily, you know, just being a content creator on the internet is often a humbling experience, depending on, like, what scale you're at. You know, I'm not one of these, like, big, huge guys that's just rolling in millions and has no idea what to do with themselves, so they become just kind of this weird hate peddler or something like that. You know, not gonna do that. But... you know, just being like a rank-and-file YouTuber that's been doing it for over a decade now, it's kind of easy for me to kind of keep myself in check, because there's no, like... it's not this, like, big glamorous career path. It's just another job, and it's a good job. Like, I really like what I do. But, you know, it's easier to have reasonable expectations, because I'm not, like, cruising to 10 million subscribers and, you know, I live in a weird mega mansion in California or something like that. Should probably actually save up for this. It's cheap enough at this point. Yeah, I just want to see where this goes. Because some extra damage wouldn't be a bad idea just for cutting through the, purple rocks, but I don't need it too deeply or too badly. You know, I've got plenty of other things, non-bottlenecked resource chains and whatnot. And so just having more and more spawn rates seems like a good idea. I mean, we're hoovering resources as we go around, and my magnet range is a deliciously long distance compared to where I was at previously. It's almost the screen. Hopefully there's some other, like, passive sources of damage. I want something that's really good at shooting things near me. Because, yeah, if I can have the ability to, hit stuff in my orbit without having to point the gun at it, that would be lovely. Boy. Yeah, the other thing is we recover as we go along. That every time I pick up one of these, like, little resource bits, it gives me just a little bit of energy back. 17. Oh, I guess I just didn't focus on it. Okay, so where does this go? Do you keep going, sir? It looks like it does. Okay, let's actually focus on getting some pink. I might as well unlock the next resource type, and then maybe we focus on damage for a little while. Because I'd like to be able to chew through pink, but especially like red and blue really quickly. If I could get it to the point where my rotating bits are capable of just deleting red, that's probably going to be a big boon for my growth rates here. Probably. Just chew through a bunch of these. Yeah, because unfortunately pink just takes a little too long to really want to spend, like, too much time on it. But we do need it for a lot of different resource chains. Let's go for this one, seeing as we did the most amount of damage to it. Plus, I just want to position myself in the biggest possible radius. Or radius cluster? Possible? It's kind of fun, actually, trying to aim the rotational shots. I say aim, but it's mostly just park myself in an area where they're hitting the maximum number of things possible. Okay, we're at 33. We can get an HD mine. Okay, it's still going. It's just getting very expensive out there. So that's probably where we go to progress. So yeah, let's go focus on damage. My spawn rates are looking great. I mean, look at how dense this area is. Okay, let's grab one of these. I think only one. They're kind of expensive. Well, expensive, time consuming. And it's probably more practical at the moment for me to just fly through and get as much as I can from pinks, or greens and reds and blues really quickly. It might not be a bad idea for me to, I mean, yeah, boost my damage. Boost my rotational quantity as well. Because if I can have more of these things rotating around, the better. Okay. What are we even doing? The big one is, there's no real reason for me to go in any specific direction. Can I get this? No, I needed 2 more. That's fine. I think I'm probably just going to increase these things' speed a little bit. There we go. Okay, we wanted to go damage, which is cheap. These are. Well, cheap is relative. I want more of the rotatey, like the rotatey blasts. Huh, I didn't even shoot over there. Why is there drops? Maybe that's where I'd started. Could be the case. Okay, let's break another one of these. I don't know if it's going to give me 1 or 2, so maybe we waste the time busting up 2 of them just for the sake of it. Because, yeah, I can rotate around it and just use myself as kind of a wrecking ball. Or my rotational shots as a wrecking ball. Because there's a lot of resources just spawning in the surrounding area that I can harvest comfortably. Alright. Yeah, it looks like we're getting a lot of blue more than green or anything like that. I guess maybe it's because the green rocks just instantly get deleted. So I'm just not seeing them. Or maybe there's an upper limit that, like, the higher my spawn rate gets, the more likely I am to not run into the more basic asteroids. Not sure. Okay, so what do we want to do? Pricey. Homing bullets. Okay, so is that the little guy? Yeah, they don't fire often. Not much is certain. Oh, there's a hell of a lot of green here. Let's see. Is it practical for me to go for the dark purple? I think on a time perspective, no, it's not. It's probably better that I keep pushing for the things that I can clear quickly. I guess I'm only getting like a handful of upgrades for them every once in a while. Let's see. Yeah, I should get some more pinks here as well. Because I know those are kind of a big progression lock for me. Let's see. Do we keep going this direction? Get another homing bullet? Sure. Okay, bunch of attack speed, bunch of attack speed. And now I should have 2 homing bullets. The main question is, what causes them to fire? Because it doesn't seem like it's the most consistent thing ever. And so I've got to investigate this at some point. Well, investigate, I've just got to play around with it. Because I like the idea of homing bullets. I'm still a bigger fan of my rotational bullets, and I wish I could build around them a little bit more deeply. There we go. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to turn the sound effects off. I know, just the too many bloops. Kind of harshing the zen of the experience. Not bad, just repetitive. And I prefer, I don't know, non-repetitive sound effects. But hardly a design choice that needs to be, like, panic fixed. Okay. Punching away at these. What are we getting? Yeah, this is starting to get kind of expensive, so maybe I should be focused on grabbing these. Okay. Well, best thing I can do is probably just max these out. All of the kind of little sub-trees that can be polished off very quickly seem like they're worth the effort. Especially since, you know, more homing bullets is just another source of damage. I just wish I understood how they exactly work, because they don't seem to fire that often. There we go. Ooh, this is a nice big mess. Yeah, the other question at this point is, do I need much more asteroid spawn rate? I guess I do, they overlap. So the more asteroids I get, the better. Without exception. Because I was trying to decide, like, okay, do I want to go back to hyperfixating on spawn rates? Do I want to focus on raw damage? I think raw damage is still probably going to be the more practical one, seeing as the dark blue asteroids are kind of expensive. I don't know if I got it. Hopefully I got the pink. What is that? Only 15, so that's actually very reasonable. Let's see. Next homing shot. More rotational bullets. Good. I'm still kind of the mind of I wish I could spec into these further, and maybe that's something that does show up over the course of this. Because I'm really enjoying just being kind of this roving wrecking ball. Let's see. But maybe I will get my opportunity and more if I'm just, you know, a little patient. And I don't think I'm gonna get the next resource type. At least not until we've got pink a little bit more on lockdown. And probably enough rotational bullets that there's no gaps in my circle? Question mark? Though, I mean, obviously, so much of it is just based on the whims of how much diminishing returns. What is the point inflation cost or resource inflation cost for like each of these asteroids and whatnot? Or not asteroids, point nodes. Upgrade nodes? Sorry, brain's going slightly elsewhere. I'm having a conversation with myself in my head, and it's like, no, I shouldn't talk about that. Let's see. 8 bits per minute. The harvest speed probably isn't that practical. Yeah, so let's get those rotation bullets. See, every time I get one of those, it's another 4. And that just seems pretty valuable to me. I'm curious if and when we're going to hit a prestige point. Because it feels like there's got to be some kind of reset point or shift. That we've fallen into a rhythm here, and usually incremental games break the rhythm with some kind of major change along the way. It's just a matter of how and where. Okay. Keep just cutting through a bunch of these things. Yeah, at least we're clearing pink really quick now. Still not as fast as I'd like it to. Okay, let's focus on this. And who knows, this could actually just be like a very linear, incremental experience, that there is no like prestige shift and it is purely just face value. That's fine. It doesn't have to be every single time. Yeah, do we save up for the next one? I think we do. Okay. Decreases homing reloads by an amount. So they do have their own fire rate. And it is independent from my own regular fire rate. I guess it's fair. I'm still very much of the opinion that, like, oh, it'd be nice, though, if I could choose between, like, homing reloads or just more rotational bullet nonsense. But that would break the game's balance super hard if I could, like, hyper-focus on one bullet type. Or attack type. And who knows? Maybe that's an option later. You never know. That's why I came back for at least one more video, just to get a further sense of this game. You know, we got a very good taste last time, but it just felt like there was more that I hadn't found yet. I mean, homing bullets for starters. But who knows, there might be more than just that. Almost always are. And where's my head at? I don't know. It's been a busy week. I don't know if you guys saw the announcement on my Discord, but I'm one of the judges for the Indie Game Awards this year. Judges? Jury members, more than judges. But so I get to vote on, like, yeah, what are going to be some of the indie games of the year? Let's get the Triamine, because that also scales up. Ooh, we only need 5 of those for the Tetramine. Okay. Yeah, it looks like the homing reload speed is... Let's see, homing reload speed is kind of the new... Oh, this must be the Tetra. Well, we only need 5 of these to get the next one. I think I might just go out of my way to maybe get them all just because it gives me that resource multiplier. Even if these things are chunky as hell. It just seems kind of practical. Okay, is this another one? Yeah, we can go for it. Let's see. But yeah, so as one of the jury members, I have to vote on, like, what are going to be the indie games of the year. And, like, most of it is just, like, basic stuff, like best, you know, game of the year, or best music, or visual design, community management, which I thought was kind of interesting. And you can see all the nominees on the website if you just, you know, look up the Indie Game Awards. It's not like any of this is particularly secret. But the thing that got to me was I hadn't played half of these games. That as somebody who plays indie games for a living, you know, so many of them just weren't on my radar this year. Literally just had not heard of them, or let's see. Wing bullet reload, sure, I'll just max those out. Either I hadn't heard of them, or hadn't had time for them, or they just didn't really fit my profile. So Shell right now is playing through Fear the Spotlight, which is like a indie horror game that looks actually pretty good. It's very like PS1 in a good way. And yesterday I was playing like Arco and Nine Souls. You know, games that I've maybe put one video into, but nothing more than that. And it's kind of this like weird, humbling experience realizing just how little of the games industry I actually have like experience with. And, you know, I think I'd mentioned this in the video yesterday, but like, you know, I've played more video games than I think most human beings ever will. And even then I've only scratched like this barest surface of some of these in a way that feels odd. Like I said, humbling in an odd way. Okay, looks like we can cut through pink pretty quick. Yeah, the degradation does start cooking me pretty quick. But I do want to get some dark blue here. And once this really kicks in, we want to just keep rushing it. Wow, the price jump on some of these a little rough. Okay, rotating bullet speed. I don't know what it's going to do beyond that, but let's get both of those and then let's switch back to... Well, I don't know. Maybe I actually go for energy this time around. Kind of hard to tell. I guess damage is the big one that I should stick to. Like, no matter what, we're just going to need more damage. Should probably also find one of the new purple rocks and give it a break. If I can, there's one. Because I think we only need one more to unlock the next resource type. And while I recognize that that's wildly overkill considering how tough this thing is, let's see. It is one of those where, like, yeah, it does increase just a multiplier of how many resources I get just in general. And that seems practical to me. Even if it does mean some of the asteroids are just completely inaccessible to me due to how much health they have. Oh, I only got one. 32 bits per second, too, is impressive. Okay, so there's some rotation speed. I'll just max those out. The faster these rotate, the more they will hit. The more they hit, the more damage I do. I guess the one thing I'm really hoping for no matter what is that you can specialize further than this. Over the course of, you know, over the course of the game. Because I love the big talent tree, but it does feel like it's getting a little linear. But maybe it's one of those that we're getting out into the actual, like, the actual talent tree. And that's where things really start to specialize. Maybe. Or not. Maybe it's just kind of a nice zen little incremental experience with not a whole lot of immediate variety. It's still fun. It's just one of those where it's like, oh, it makes me pine for more. But that's what sequels and whatnot are for. I'm actually quite curious, like, how long does it take to make a game like this? Because, yeah, could you actually make a series of incremental games kind of with a lot of similar ideas, but building upon them in terms of, like, depth and whatnot? Because I've seen it from a couple of games so far. You know, we definitely had Magic Research have a sequel recently. There's the Tetramine. Looks like that's the end of it. So whatever is... Oh, yeah, what... Holy shit, you can actually zoom out. Yeah, whatever is after these suckers has got to be something. Okay, why don't we actually do something slightly different? Chance to freeze power, chance to freeze power. Power efficiency. not really inspiring a whole lot of immediate interest to me. The extra duration is nice, but I don't need to be out here longer. Yeah, somebody was describing it in terms of increlution. How in increlution, you know, it's not necessarily that like winning or losing, none of that matters. It's just how much are you raising your like base instinctual levels, I think they were called. And that's very much the case on this one, is just that like, as long as I'm making some progress here, it's good. But the faster I'm cycling these runs, the more potential upgrades I'm snagging. I don't think I'm actually going to break one of those Tetras. But that wasn't really my intention here. They're too tough for me, and that's fine. The goal is to just have them unlocked so that they give me that resource multiplier. I know the rotating bullets are chewing, so that's kind of what I was hoping for. Yeah, do we just go back up here? Getting pricey. I'm also curious about how the damage multipliers work. You know, is that 10% increase additive or multiplicative? So effectively, every time I pick up a 10% increase, no, it's got to be additive. Probably? There's probably some order of operations on it, at the very least. I'd love to see the math for this kind of thing. Because I bet the math actually is quite interesting. Let's just nibble through it. Probably just focus on the lighter resources for a little while. Once it gets, once the degradation gets that much worse, it stops being practical to go after the tougher resources because I can't sustain myself on them. But I think I can do just enough damage to take that out. Perfect. Those suckers are expensive, but so is this boy. Yeah, let's keep pushing damage. Oof, pricey. Actually, this is weirdly cheap. Oh, it's because I didn't go down the same line. There we go. So more spawn rate, more magnetism. And then inevitably more damage. Bad time to have an itchy eye. Or is it? I guess it doesn't really matter. You know. Worst comes to worst, I have a slightly wasted run because I had to attend to myself. And it's not as efficient as it could have been. Oh well. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep pushing, punching these, because I think the diminishing returns are starting to make some of these other resource nodes not the most viable. I think it's like the dark blue and the pink rocks are going to be my main goals, just because they're the easiest for me to cut through without wasting too much time. Lost my mouse cursor for a second. Ooh. Yeah, the big one is when I can find these nodes where there's like a resource I want to grab, but it's surrounded by a bunch of other things, so I can use those to just keep me rolling. Didn't get it. It's fine. We got 7 though. Let's see, bits per second. Probably just scale up raw value. Raw value. Okay, so that's nice and symmetrical. 560. If I just wait a little bit, these will fill out. That's the one thing I could do, is I could actually just leave the game running for a little bit, you know, go take a break, play something else. And come back to probably oodles of points that I could spend. But that's boring. Might still be worth it. I might do that before next time just to speed things along. You know, take a break from this, go record another video, and then just leave this running in the background. I've actually gotten another incremental game that I do want to check out and see if it's any good. And so, worst comes to worst, it's one of those incremental soupy things where I literally just, like, swap games in the middle of a video and be like, yeah, I'm just playing this on the side, no biggie. Normally I would feel weird about that. Like if I was playing some other game, like if I'm in the middle of BC Ball and I stop to do a quick check-in on like, yeah, how's my, you know, how's my Deep Space Cache grind going on the side? Like that would be boring. But it feels like with incremental and idle games, it's almost kind of implicit that it's like, yeah, you might actually be playing a couple of these simultaneously. Okay, right. We want to keep kind of going for the dark blues. They're not that common. They're an easy resource to kind of farm for. There we go. So what do we want to do? 32 bits per second? Or not second, minute. Harvest speed number 10. By quantity, I don't know. Doesn't matter. We got 1,000 though. Sad part is I'm only getting like 2 upgrades though. Alright, sure. Why don't we leave this running for a bit? Okay, so I didn't hang out for too long. But we have nearly 12,000 to spend. Increases total spiral bullets by a little bit. Homing bullets. Spiral bullets. Damage to asteroids. Spiral bullets. I think spiral bullets might be its own deal. Well, one way or another. Let's see. How spiral bullets work. Okay, yeah. So spiral bullets are a completely different damage source than the one I already had. They're cool. I like them. And wait, why is my damage suddenly 370? I am gonna have to investigate some of these things. I did... What? I just hung out for a bit and just let the game roll, and now I hit like a truck. Alright, I mean, it's what the game needed, so here we are. I also really like the colorful cubes around my ship. That feels really good. Purely from the perspective, well, I don't know, purely from like a visual perspective, the game is very gaudy, I would say. And having kind of these more pastel-y colors surrounding my ship is a nice aesthetic. Okay. Unfortunately, even with all these upgrades, I mean, we are chewing through things a lot faster. But I'm wondering how much I can actually upgrade my mines. The other question is, like, would it be worth it for me to go after a lemon? I don't think so. Not yet. Let's just mulch through as many, like, softer resources as I possibly can. Because, yeah, that degradation is going to chew through me before I can get to most of these. Let's see, 9, 4. Yeah, I'm just going to keep speeding those up. Not as much as I was hoping for exactly, but that's okay. Yeah, hopefully these start branching a little bit. So what did we get? 5, 10, 10%? Is it one of those where it is? It's gotta be multiplicative then. Because there's no way my damage would have jumped up to 370 per shot. Clearly I should just take regular breaks playing this though. Or spiral bullets. Yeah, unfortunately it's just a lot of spiral bullets at the moment. I can't put more into my rotational bullets, but whatever. Now we do 492 damage. Yeah, so whatever's going on with the math and the damage scaling, I think it's got to be multiplicative. Like every single time you get one of those, it increases your current damage by an additional 10% of what it currently is, as opposed to 10% of, like, an additional 10% of whatever the original base value is. Is my assumption? I don't know. It's got to be something like that. Let's see if I can find some cheese. I'm just going to punch through everything and whatever at the moment. So yeah, there it is. See if I can actually destroy one of these. That doesn't even take that long. Previously, this would have taken a while back when I was only hitting for 80. And now it's just chewing through them. I don't think I'm going to try and go for multiple, because that might be too expensive. But I figure at least go for one per loop. There we go. Yeah, we might also want to just look into more asteroid density. Considering, you know, how quickly I'm burning through these things. Just having tons of asteroids just in the field for me to destroy. I think I can get this. Just barely. There we go. Yeah, 32 bits per minute. We're getting a decent amount. The other ones are a little slower. Yeah, 10%, 5%. I don't know. We're just going to keep pushing it. Because how much damage do I do now? 541. So maybe that wasn't a huge damage boost. Yeah, I think I will look into increasing my asteroid spawn rate again. Previously, I wasn't, just because I wasn't able to cruise this hard, but now at this point, we are mulching more asteroids than it can throw at me. I would like some cheese, please. The spiral bullets are pretty. I'll have to see about getting them to fire more often, too. Oh, there's some cheese. Perfect. Because I want to see what's on the other side of the cheese. There's got to be some other resource type than just this one. Probably. Do I go double cheese? I think we agreed it. I think we go for double cheese here. I don't think anything else is going to be like a considerably better resource grind. Maybe going for like the magenta ones directly below. But considering their like base value is so freaking high. Do we think I can get another? Not overwhelmingly. Yeah, no way I'm going to be able to get that. Degradation's going to cook me before I get there. Okay. Give that a bit of speed. Give a lot of these speed. And do I just keep going this direction? Maybe. I just want to see what's down here. Because previously, like in the last episode, there was a lot of branching paths that I could kind of follow. And now currently we have two identical branches going symmetrically through the talent tree. And while that's not strictly bad, it's got to branch at some point, yeah? And maybe then we can find some more interesting branches, because I like the spiral bullets. I'm thinking I'm still a bigger fan of the rotational ones, though. And anything we get that can specifically facilitate making those more powerful is worth my time. Okay, there's some cheese, finally. Park ourselves there so we're able to get some other stuff. Like, the thing is, I might as well use the rotational bullets to slowly farm some of these other nodes as well. So, in the previous video, somebody had reacted to me suggesting, like, hey, everyone leave a review for this game and how it might, like, skew the metrics in a bad way for Steam. Technically it can, but not in a bad way. So, many games have, like, wildly different sales to review thresholds. Some will have tons of reviews for how few sales they have. And Steam doesn't care. Like, Steam quite literally has no interest. As long as the reviews are authentic, they won't step in, they won't do anything about it, they won't even think about it. What Steam cares about is that enough people left reviews of the game in general, because that means that there's an interest in this one. How would I describe it? Like, Steam definitely does scale, Steam scales a game's visibility by two factors: how many sales it got, and how many reviews it got. I don't think it actually cares about how positive or negative those reviews are. So you can actually review bomb something to hell and it's actually going to rank higher. Of course, no question, there's obviously questions about whether or not people will buy it if it's overwhelmingly negative or anything like that, but that's, I don't think that's Steam's concern. Part of it is, this way you can't just review bomb a game into non-existence, say for like political reasons or personal reasons or something, oh, this features, so-and-so voice actor, or the protagonist is a lady and we're going to destroy this game so that only male games, I don't know. Stuff like that. Steam doesn't care about that. Steam, as far as I know, like, will not rank things based on the quality of the reviews. It's purely just like quantity and is it authentic. If they suspect that there's like a big view botting thing, like, somebody's paying a bunch of services to buy fake reviews on their game to push it up higher, Steam will step in and probably damage the game, ding it, shut it down. But even then, they're not that good. I've seen quite a lot of games being suspected of buying reviews or even buying reviews and getting away with it. Let's see, do we want a bit of speed? Nah. I think I'm just going to keep going for that if we broke a lot of those this time around. What Steam really cares about... Ooh, pricey. What Steam really cares about is just how many people were reviewing this game. So your game won't even show up if you have less than 10 reviews. Your game will not get promoted until it has like 100. And then, like, once you start getting to the 500 or 1,000 review range, that's when Steam starts, like, actively promoting the game, just, like, randomly as you're browsing it. And so that's why there's kind of this, like, I don't want to say it's like a chicken and the egg situation. It's a, there's a scalability to your performance on Steam that's scales based on how many reviews you have. So I did a review, or like I did a I did a blog post a while back, or a thing I was working on, of like how, very few games actually get more than 500 reviews on Steam. And that, like, functionally, to be a profitable game release, you have to have more than 500. Anything less than that, you probably aren't making enough money to keep the lights on, unless you're specifically like a solo act and being extremely spendthrift with your budget. And so you generally won't find a whole lot of those, like, big games of the year lurking down in that. I mean, you'll never find any of the big games of the year, but you won't find a whole lot of studios lasting in kind of that territory. Unless they've somehow got like external funding sources, or you know, is maybe like an external thing. They do a lot of external work. So they'll like help develop other games, and like, oh, this is our side project. Let's see, do we just go down this direction? We might as well. It gets pricey. But yeah, so I was just kind of writing about how like very few games get over 500 reviews, but you could also tell, like, looking at this, most of the games that get over 500 reviews tend to also be the ones that get up into the couple thousands. Like there's very much like a exponential curve to how your game's performance is based on like how many reviews you get. And so, well, yeah, sales matter honestly more than even review numbers. For a lot of smaller games like this, those review numbers are just as pivotal early on and can like actually get them the visibility they might not normally get. Now with a game like this, I'm not too worried about it. Obviously it's going to be a bit of a slow starter, but you know, as soon as I pick this up and it gets an amount of reviews on Steam and it gets picked up by a bunch of other YouTubers, like I give it a couple months and then you're probably going to see like a gazillion reviews from, oh geez, I don't even know who the usual suspects are. Like, I don't really pay attention to the like meme, all caps, I did some crazy thing in this video and there's a big red arrow, from like nothing to everything. You know, those guys usually latch onto these games pretty hard once they've been dredged out of Steam's, you know, ditches. And once they've been put into the limelight, then everybody knows about them and these channels will go bananas for them. It just seems to be the standard rule. And so, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this doesn't end up with a couple hundred reviews by the end of the year. Just purely based on, like, it's a good game. And, like, who knows what that tracks to sales, but if you're selling your game for $1, chances are your sales numbers are going to match and then some. Let's pick this. Ooh, 5,000. Ouch. I don't know. I'll have to actually do a little bit more research on this topic so I can present it better. But every developer I've ever talked to has said, like, you know, those reviews are just as important as like specific sales, and like effectively are begging. I don't want to say begging. That sounds very like demeaning in a way, but they're very much like, hey, you know, the more reviews I can get, I'd really appreciate it. You know, anybody that can help out with those early reviews, if you bought my game, say something nice about it on Steam and I will appreciate it greatly. Let's see. I wonder if it's also one of those where Steam kind of, I don't want to say like kind of tracks these and says like how many of these feel organic. You know, if you're getting too many reviews to sales, then after a certain point, there are diminishing returns. Maybe that's it. I buy a lot of board games. This is going to sound like a non sequitur, but bear with me. So I buy a lot of board games, and as part of it, I'm very much like concerned about, hey, is the board game I'm buying good? So I'll look at the review scores on sites like Board Game Geek especially, but, you know, also look at creators and be like, okay, you know, what does No Pun Included say about this game? If they have a video on it. And they have videos on quite a lot, so it's kind of easy for me to make a reasonably informed decision about like what I want to pick up. And there's other channels too. I just like them especially. Let's see. I'll just get more of those. Yeah, do I want to go for the harvest speed? I think not early on. I don't think it's particularly necessary. Let's see. I wonder if this is either like a threshold or an end cap. Well, I think for the time being, let's just push those to their maximum possible extent, and then we'll see what happens. Because yeah, if it's just going to be like 5,000 an upgrade, I'll probably slow down and just let the game run. while I accrue resources, then I just play the game super piecemeal style. You know, just 5-10 minutes here and there, talk about a topic and then move on. And, you know, just get through the game slowly by letting it idle for a while. Let's see, but what was I going to say? So, was reading a thing about how Board Game Geek handles its review scales, and I'm sure Steam has like an even more sophisticated methodology for like ranking games based on how many reviews they've received. But in Board Game Geek, what they do is for every review they get, they add like a fake non-existent review with a score of like 5.5 or something like that. Or they add like 100 of them. And so effectively for every like 10 out of 10 review you get, it only pushes the overall average score up by like a smidge. So you have to get a lot of reviews if you want to have like an 8 or a 9 out of 10 game. But this means that you can't just have like the developer and their family all give it a 10 out of 10 and whoops, this is the best game ever made, right? No. And so what this does is this creates kind of this like long-term weighted average of you need to have a lot of really good reviews to say stack up against Brass Birmingham or oh geez, I don't know what the other like most popular games on Board Game Geek are right now. But you can't just like go in with some no name game and rank particularly well. You know, Wingspan's gonna just shut you out no matter what you do. And so I'm assuming it's something kind of similar with Steam, that every time somebody leaves a review, there's some kind of weighting for it where it's like, you know, we can only some kind of waiting for it, so it will only like boost the ranking by a certain portion. Let's see, can I fit this one in? Yeah. If I just wait a bit, I'd probably just be able to finish this one out. It is kind of slow though, so let's not do that. Let's just go out on another run and just kind of come back every once in a while. We do 1,000 damage, that feels really good. But so yeah, you do need some amount of sales to actually rank higher. That's a given. But I'm pretty sure still just high quantities of good reviews will still do more than anything else. Especially because people are slow and bad at reviewing things. And purely from like an outwards perspective, you see a game with a bunch of like good authentic reviews. You know, you have like 1,000 of these reviews and they're all like, yeah, this game's great. Like, to some degree, from a consumer's perspective, you'll look at that and be like, okay, sure, it's probably worth looking into, even if Steam might not rank it that highly. As opposed to something with like 10 reviews that are all also positive. There might be, well, I mean, one, you might not even find it, but two, it probably doesn't push the dial as much. But maybe I don't know, maybe I'm not a good expert on that one. I don't buy many games anymore. Like this, I know this sounds weird, but like for the most part, I actually rely somewhat on developers sending me games for my coverage. Chicken and the egg, though. It's not that I rely on them for sending me games, it's that I get sent so many games, why would I cover things that I have to buy? Imagine if you just had like an infinite amount of coupons to go for like good Thai food in your city. Why would you ever get Chinese food? That's kind of, I don't know, it's a bad analogy, but it's the best I've got in the moment. But so it's one of those where it's actually quite rare for me to like go out of my way to buy a game. Unless it's something special, like I'll buy most Nintendo games just because Nintendo games are good. But I can get, well, I've bought multiple Nintendo games this year. I actually haven't played any of them. So I got like Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon and I got Echoes of Wisdom, and just have felt minimal compunction to sit down and play them because I have just so many good indie games that have caught my interest instead. Okay, I'm gonna buy this and see what it gets me. It's a Powerful Vision, The Last Bits. Okay, I figured there was something there. That it was getting progressively too expensive, and it meant that there's got to be something at the end of it that gets me to that I don't want to say like the prestige point, the point where something about the game is going to fundamentally change and soon. I don't want to see what that looks like before this video ends. I don't actually know if the last bits is going to be that, but it seems like an easy thing to check and look into and play around with. Because yeah, if we can, I mean, if we prestige and start the whole game over, but with a slight boost, that's a good starting point for the next video. Keep destroying cheese. Or maybe it's something completely different, who knows? Personally, I'm just hoping that I get to increase the node cap, so I can really start investing more resources into rotational bits. Because yeah, it's so odd that it says level cap of 1 for every single node. You would think that at least a couple of them would have a higher level cap, unless they do, and I just completely missed it. And, you know, I'll have to go back and investigate that at a later date. There we go. Yeah, we're getting a ton of resources per run here. Especially these, like, really dense clusters. I just waltz right into them. And they melt. And they leave very little left. You know, it's usually just a handful of particularly tough bits. Yeah, do I destroy another cheese? That one's tough. But doable. Okay, there we go. Well, I came out with a lot, all things considered. 531, 340. Yeah, I should probably invest at least a little bit into speed for a handful of these. Okay, got 5,000. Let's get those up. I don't know. Because yeah, there's the question on one, especially if we're going to be prestiging, does that reset everything? Because I know that's true for at least a number of these, so maybe it's not worth super grinding for resources, and the best thing I could do is just idle for a bit. Or the last bits is something completely different. I truly do not know. Okay. What else was I going to say? I don't know. I'm just kind of looping. It's been a day, it's been a week. It's one of those where the holidays are always extremely busy. I don't know how many of you remember the "why can't I hold all of these limes" meme from who knows how long ago. Memes age at like such a ridiculous rate nowadays, but that one stuck with me. Cause yeah, whenever the holidays rolls around, I just like my workload triples and there's almost no like, I don't want to say consideration for it, but there's just so much more that I have to do. You know, events, family get-togethers, errands, kind of errands. I mean, there's things that I've maybe just haven't finished for the year, or things that I put off, or, you know, just kind of your regularly scheduled doctor's appointments and whatnot. Oh, right, because I gotta get a chickenpox vaccine. I've never had chickenpox before, so I probably should get vaccinated for that. Because I legitimately had no idea you were supposed to if you hadn't actually gotten it before. This week I learned, I guess. I was going to say today I learned, but no, it was a couple days ago. But yeah, the Indie Game Awards, holidays and whatnot, and just general recording and other things is one of those where it's just like very easy for me to feel super duper overwhelmed in not a bad way. Let's just speed these up a little bit, because I think... Oh, that's maxed out. Level 20 is the upper limit on this bit mine. Admittedly, it's only getting me 25 bits per tick. But that's still 25 bits per tick. I think we just leave it for a bit. Let's see what the last bits gets me. Okay, the last bits. maxed out. It's a powerful vision. As we'll prep, see if we get another one of those. I almost wonder if we have to get a couple. Yeah, so maybe what it is, I mean, my damage is amazing. But yeah, I wonder if I actually have to get each of the last bits on every single one of these trees. Because I'm not noticing any, like, major damage scaling things. Unless it's this. Oh, it's this thing. It's whatever this box is. Or, no, never mind. That box is just multiple resources that had all just kind of clumped up behind me. And I hadn't actually, like, looted them yet. Yeah, there they are. I'm not even really thinking about what I'm looting here. I'm just looting everything. Yeah, so the last bits might be one of those where you have to get the last bits at each corner of the talent tree. Let's see. And then by doing so, you get access to whatever the next tier is. Or something. I truly do not know. Yeah, I might as well keep breaking the cheese, but I think this is going to be my last route, because we have tons, like, my income is fantastic at this point. I can't imagine it's going to get that much higher. I could get it much higher. Or I could just literally leave the game running for exactly one YouTube video's worth of me recording some other game, and I would probably get more than enough. I'd probably get more than enough resources. Let's see, do we want to just do bits per minute? Sure. That's really expensive, but fine. Yeah, I don't really have much of a basis on any of those. Okay. So yeah, I think we just finish each of these patterns. Yeah, there's the next last bits. So yeah, let's just leave this game running for a bit. Because I could get a whole bunch of stuff here. But it's not really going to make too much of a difference farming-wise. And I think I'm only going to be able to increase my income by like a smidgel. And so it seems most practical for me to just, yeah, leave the game running for a moment. I was really hoping there would be more, like, interesting nodes kind of down this direction. There's a lot of power efficiency and other bits and bobs. My income is actually high enough that me investing in these, I think I'm still gaining. It's going to get more expensive. Yeah, 2,500. Figured. I guess we can do exactly one run where I have, like, oodles of energy. Because, yeah, what are these? Increase attack speed by 5%. Yeah. We'll just do one run, because I'm sure this is going to be... Oh. My energy meter is insane. Gosh, I think I could be out here for like 10 minutes. And previously, I'd be lucky if I got 30 seconds. Now I'm functionally unstoppable. Yeah, the problem is it still doesn't change any of my scaling. I'm just going to have a lot of resources to bring back with me. Which is satisfying in its own way, but maybe not the most practical. Luckily, I can just say at a certain point, like, yes, I would like to leave now. Because each of these things I destroy gives me a portion of my bar back. And it must be a percentage considering how easily I'm staying above the curve. Well, I'm going to stick it out, at least for a little while. I want to see how high that degradation gets. Because I'm assuming it gets faster and faster the longer I'm here. Yeah, because it just went up by a 0.3. So at some point, I won't be able to sustain the ship. But it's going to take a while. Okay, let's go after this one first. It certainly makes chasing after the cheese that much more practical. Previously, that was a little expensive for me. Yeah, we're up to a 3-second degradation, so like it is accelerating very quickly. And is going to slow me down. Just gotta punch my way through a little bit more. Or a lot more, really. Because, yeah, now we're up to 6. Like, we're still kind of staying above. I think part of it is the chance to freeze my bar is probably helping keep things going for, like, a longer period of time. But pretty soon, this is not going to be enough, and then the run will end, and that's okay. And then I will have just, like, oodles of progression. Or progression. I'll have oodles of resources to spend. We can get a bunch of those last bits. And then probably, yeah, just sit on our laurels for a little bit. While we, wait for the resources. Yeah, so that was 3.5 minutes. That actually was not that long. Okay, so that's maxed out. I got exactly 1. Let's see. There we go. That should be a decent amount. 1, 2. And then, yeah, I think we just wait. Because we've only got a couple of last bits left sitting around here. Yeah. So, I guess I'll be back in a little bit. We'll have a ton of resources, and we'll see what the last bits get me. Okay, so I have a silly amount of bits. Oh, things are starting to pop up here. What are these? The final cache is for you. Okay, so this is actually getting kind of expensive. Increased bullet total lifetime, homing reloads. Okay, powerful vision. Oh boy, this does take a while. This is what I get for just leaving the game auto for a bit. Alright. Last couple. Okay, maxed out, maxed out, maxed out, maxed out. What? Oh, that was it. That was just the end of the game. I'm a little sad. Like, it's not really that big of a deal, but this has so much potential to be, like, a deeper, more interesting game. And honestly, for, like, $1 for a 2, maybe 3 hour experience, kind of depends on how much you're grinding and how much you just let the game roll. it was not a bad experience at all. I had a very good time with this one. It just feels like, God, you could just add an expansion to this that effectively just adds a whole tier, prestiges you, lets you put some more talent points in, maybe lets you tweak the talent trees in some meaningful fashion. I don't know, all of the different ideas that I said and more. And so it's like, it's one of those where I'm not disappointed, but I am a little bit unsatisfied, mostly from the perspective of like, man, I just wanted to sink some more time into this one, and it stopped me early. But I mean, that's a sign of a good game and good design, and I'm very much looking forward to future games in this style. In fact, I'd love to see a Deep Space Cache 2 that's, yeah, just 5 times the price and 5 times the content. I think that would actually be perfect. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. It was a nice little incremental jaunt, and I had a very good time with it, and I'm looking forward to more. But for now, at least, I don't think there's really anything else for me to say. So I guess if you like this video in any way, shape, or form, leave me a like. It helps more than you know. And if you want to see more rad new games every single day, then hit subscribe because I got tons to check out and show off. But for now, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.